If learning about why your investments are going down is not your cup of tea, might not be the video for you today if you're here just for all that mining goodness, guys. So if you were wondering why it is the market seems to be burning down around you and your rigs, hit the thumbs up, guys, and then stay tuned on this one. You're going to have fun. Yo, Crypto Nation and mining family, what's going on out there? What's up? What's up? What's up? What is going on? I see that we had somebody in here. Don't know if there's anybody here now. All of a sudden, there's nobody waiting. Yeah. Today I was, it's like I kind of try to make sure that I've got a little bit of, kind of bigger picture on the way that the mining market is actually working. Yes, we all know Ethereum mining pretty much for my time ends I think like right around midnight, between midnight and 1 in the morning tonight. Ethereum mining is dead. What's up, mine and hodl? As you guys come sliding on up in here, guys, don't forget to smash that Lizzie like button and share this on your favorite social media. Yo. So it's like, so this video is not going to be pertained around any hardware or any mining stuff directly, because pretty much we're at that point with the mining market of sit and wait. We're going to be watching the last actual proof of work hash rate come off the network, and we're going to see a bunch of coins just kind of yank around on profitability. So I would sit there and say, hold tight with what you guys have got going on. I would sit there and say, think about conservation of energy. Not so much to be green or anything like that, but to kind of help lower your electric bill during this time of transition with the mining industry. So that would be a very smart game plan. Home miner, big miner. Big miners might consider turning off if they can't reach the numbers that they're looking for. But for everybody else, it's just going to be trying to find that really efficient coin that's not very power intensive. If you're still wanting to mine no matter what, you're like, no, I'm going to get me my sats. But you could sit there and find something that's a little bit less energy intensive, mine yourself some sats, sit back and relax, all that good stuff. And then wait for the market to kind of settle out, figure out what everybody's going to be doing. And I tell you, man, it's probably going to be a 2-month transition, if not longer, but I'm planning for 2 months of market instability with the mining industry. So, yo, what's up, Foodwiser? Got Crypto Crag sliding up in here too. Yo! But it's like a lot of people need, a lot of people that I've talked to, maybe not some of you guys, because I've taught you guys, a lot of you guys that are here, and if you're new here, you're about to learn a thing or two about a thing or two about a thing or two, but what the governments do worldwide, whether it's regulating proof of work algorithms, banning mining, not banning mining, banning crypto, not banning crypto, banning these cryptos, but not these ones. Bitcoin's good, Bitcoin's dead. It's like you see all these market fluctuations, and you see the price movements going along with those. Just as of recently, and I'm sure each and every one of you, I look at it periodically myself, but I look at it less than what most people would think. I've had people go, "Hey man, Bitcoin's crashing, right?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "You don't know?" And I'm like, "No, I don't know." And they look at me funny, and they're like, "But you're into Bitcoin?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "But the price dropped." And I'm like, "Oh, you're saying it's on sale?" Oh wow, it's really on sale. I better buy some. You know? So it's like, I'm not going to sit there and tell other people what they should or shouldn't do. But I mean, most people, they're going to open up the thing and they're going to look at something like this and they're like, oh my God, Bitcoin dropped below 20,000. If it doesn't hold this line, it's going to go down lower. I don't care about getting coupons. I just look at this as a coupon. It sucks when you're purely running off of Bitcoin. That's when it hurts. But from an investment standpoint, it just means that you have less dollar value for it, which means that technically the asset has lost strength in comparison to the dollar. Yes, some of it is that that it is people are pulling their dollars off the market, and that's kind of where the essence of this video will be coming in play, guys. So a lot of people are looking at these markets, seeing that the price action is going down, and they're not realizing all they know is, oh, a whale sold, great, I lost money. Yes and no. Basically, if you look at all the markets, I mean, you don't have to just cherry pick that busy Bitcoin, guys. You get things like this. This is the Russell Russell 2000 Futures Index. This little sharp decline right in here, guys. This is when the market took a dive on March 23rd-ish. 2020, when the market dived from being shut down, and you see that it popped up, and every time you saw, I mean, it's normal to see little pullbacks, but these like drawn out pullbacks and a snap straight up, that's when they inject money. Every time it rolled over, they injected more money. They injected a lot of money. It rolled over, cooled off. They kept on injecting money, and then when they stopped injecting money, the market traded sideways. Because they know that the market is like heavily like over leveraged at this point. There is no way that you can sustain this stuff. Here is the Dow Jones Industrial. So these are all your industries and stuff like that. Back here's where the drop was again. And as they rescued out the economy, it started back up onto its trajectory. But then you started seeing it just kind of roll over, and it started rolling over whenever Jerome Powell started talking about raising interest rates. What does that do for you guys? What that does is it makes it more expensive for these big corporations to take out a loan. Because they pulled down the loans to near 0%. In my book, I call that 0% interest, right? And they were able to sit there and consolidate loans into the 0% interest playground. Now that they're talking about raising the interest rates, that's going to do is it's going to make things expensive on their end, which they're not going to absorb that. Because a lot of these corporations have stock shareholders they've got to address. So if it's more expensive for them to do business, they just pass the cost down line. That's just how economics works. That's what the Reagan's trickle-down economics actually is. They figured if you allowed these corporations to make a lot of money, that money would trickle down into the working class, which it never did, because as that came up, the stock shareholders said, that's profit we want. And instead of that trickle-down economics that was supposed to happen in a non-manipulated market where they don't care about the stock shareholders more than the employees and customers, it started siphoning out towards the stock shareholders. So this propped up stock market that's been getting injection of liquidity since 2008. They've been doing nothing but quantitative easing since 2008. When the housing market crashed, they bailed out the banks, destroyed the middle class. Now they've been sitting there ever since then. They've been just giving them more and more and more and more money. Basically, they kicked the can down the road. They were like, this price to pay for inflation is far too high. And so they kicked it down the road so this economic pain would be pushed off to a later date. It's like you can only push that off. That's like sitting there and and it's like, I'm sure everybody's heard of that one guy or that one person, that one chick or that one family that they would get a credit card to pay a credit card, to pay another credit card, to pay another credit card. The credit card game, because they were just basically playing hot potato with their debt at a ever so higher interest rate every time they did it. This is basically what our government's been doing by basically putting these corporations. How can I put it? They've. I would almost sit there and say that they have basically turned the corporation into a welfare state, where they're so used to having their handout and getting money put into there every time that they have an issue or cry wolf. The U.S. government is always the sucker in their room. And here it is. They keep on injecting because they are worried about the stock shareholders losing money. Why are they worried about that? Not that they're worried about the individual person. They're worried about these big donors to their campaigns losing any kind of money in this market. So they're going to do everything they can to prop up the housing market. They're going to prop up the corporate market. They're going to prop up the stock market by all means necessary. And they're not blind to seeing all the tents on the side of the roads and stuff like that. In these major cities, you're seeing tent cities springing up at all of them, open drug use and stuff like that. These are things that you see in a society that's dying. I'm not sitting here going. Even the Roman Empire got to this point before it collapsed in on itself. Does collapsing mean civil war? Some people say that this has been a civil war for a little while, but I think it's been a way to those in power trying to figure out how they can control the narrative and how they can control the economy. They think they can turn it on and off like a light switch. They found out that they could turn it off and it would turn back on, but it turned back on with a lot of glitches in the system. They figured that you would turn off the economy when you flipped it back on, means of production would be back at 100%. That they basically set back some of the means of production back probably about 3-4 years. And then they're sitting there and injecting all this liquidity to help force jumpstart it. And all they did was made an asset crunch on everything. So all the assets started becoming way expensive. So now with them redefining what inflation is, before Biden, inflation was 2 quarters back to back with declining CPI numbers. Well, we have that. We printed 2 back to back. That is technically we are in a recession. It's not a depression. It's not the Great Depression, but we are definitely 100% in a recession. They redefined that because of the fact that look at this, all the job market. We have the lowest unemployment in job market history. It's a strong economy. And it's like, no. I would disagree with that one because you have one person doing 3 jobs. So when you have more people taking on more jobs to work more hours of the day, it gives you these false narrative numbers. And that's what they're going off of. And Jerome Powell basically stated during the Fed chair meeting that he just recently had that they are going to be minimum of raising another 75% basis points. Basically, what he's trying to do is he's going to start inching up that interest rates until people lose money, lose jobs, and struggle more. Because he's trying to bring that inflation. Now, they're admitting that the inflation's 8.7. Their target's like 2.5% interest rate year over year. They're at 8.7 that they're admitting. So, I mean, but you can see with just them sitting there and just hinting at the idea that they are going to be doing a 75% basis points, you zoom in on this and, you know, you see that it's printing out a big sell-off. We have a sell-off, guys. It is printing it out. We'll have to see the next couple of days on this one. This one, too. You know, it's like each time this was an interest rate hike and basically a dead cat bounce and rolling over. They figured it was recovering from that, and they dropped it off again. The stock market knows something is wrong here. The market doesn't work like this. So even the market sees that it's being heavily manipulated here. I mean, even the S&P 500, this one is just, you know, printing out horribly. At the beginning of the bell, we were at 4,000, almost 4,100. Mitch already took a $200 haircut off of that. In a very stable market, 200 drop in about a 1 day period, that's not a good sign. There are other markets that you look at it, they took a hit way worse. I mean, you would almost think you were looking at a cryptocurrency chart. It's like there is no doubt that you would have been thinking this is a cryptocurrency, and then you start zooming in and you're like, oh my Lord. It's like doom, especially with quantitative easing. Yeah, Alex Pareda, 1,300 estimate yesterday, point wise. Yeah, exactly. And then outlaw mining, war. Yeah, civil war. There's many people that have been saying that. It is trending hardcore. And you can sit there and see just in their own the numbers that they are allowing out, right? The CPI numbers. This is not good. Whenever you're seeing at the very bottom here, 8.7% CPI numbers. And where are they admitting that the biggest thing is in the energy? You see that there's no housing in here. They're not going to put that. And they're going to be putting into areas where, with the food industry, food at home, food away, right? And you can see that we're 16% up, that they're that people are seeing 16. Certain items, you can be as high as 50% up from just last year's numbers alone. 16% up. So we're getting hit 16% more. Oh man, am I having issues again with my... Man, I'm getting too real over here, guys. Getting too real, guys. I do not understand why it's doing this, where it's not happy. Maybe that'll help. I'm not mining on my computer. I swear to God, it's not mining. It's not even overheating. It's not overheating. It's not doing anything. Okay. Whatever. I'm not getting encoder errors. This is between me and YouTube. Cause yeah. It's just I watched the kilobits like just drop. And that's usually when I lose connection going to them. They do not like the idea that I'm spitting some actual truth over here. This is how they censor you, dude. I swear to God. This is my tinfoil hat of the day, guys. That is the tinfoil hat. You know, they don't like when I'm spitting truths out. I remember back in the DC TV era that was an issue with us too. We spit truth, and it would almost like the internet would shut down on the truth. All hail Goog. You're right. Exactly, Alex. Yeah, because now it's fine. Now that I'm like joking around, maybe that's what it is. I gotta like spit in a few jokes, laugh a little bit because it got too real there. It got too real. As long as you're not too real, the overlords are like, this guy's A-okay in our book. He can't be taken seriously since he told a joke. The only joke that's out there is this Ukrainian conflict, and you're hearing a Ukrainian say this. I'm like 50% Ukrainian. My mama, she's 100% Ukrainian. We don't believe in this war at all. Man, I don't think that Putin's a good person, but the United States doesn't need to be poppycocking that, because that's also helping drive inflation. It's not Putin's inflation; it's our response to the Ukrainians that's causing that. Of course, we started all of it, so it's our fault to begin with. So this is our industrial our industrial military complex at its finest. But back to what I was saying. Yo, what up, Rude? What up? But you're gonna see, it's like we're just at a 16% on basically cereals, junk food, right? 16% up, right? Dairy related products, so cheeses, milk, which are staples across the United States. Having a cheeseburger, that's all American right there. Don't mess with my cheeseburger, right? But now they're making my cheeseburger cost me 16% more, right? Fruits and veggies, it should be free. You should be growing your own fruits and vegetables, but that's a whole different topic. Non-alcoholic beverages. We are talking about non-fucking water. We are talking that things like pop are 12.5 to 13, about 13% higher in cost on pops. More junk that you don't really need to be drinking anyway. And then other food at home is up 16%. Now, I'm going to take a stab that this other food at home that they don't want to admit is your junk food. That's your candies, that's your chips, that's your cakes, all the garbage that you don't even need to be eating anyway, right? Up 16%. I mean, it's 16% higher to tell you to stop eating it, right? That's how I kind of look at it. That's just me. I know, it's just me. But I mean, that's just in that. And then they're talking about food away from home food. Full service meals and snacks, and then limited service meals and snacks. So we're talking about restaurants and snacks, real restaurants that serve real food. And then you have your fucking fast food junk that barely passes off as even being edible, right? But we're seeing that if they had another category, housing, it would be up 200, 300% if they put housing into here. But we see that the CPI, it doesn't do that. So the CPI, which is the Consumer Price Index, if you guys didn't know, for anybody who's new to this, so this is basically your consumer goods, right? That are manipulated. So I know a few people, they call it the CP lie, because it has been heavily manipulated from the 80s. If you use the CPI standard that they had, let's say in 79, right? The last year when hot rods were hot rods, right? It would show that we have runaway inflation. You show it by the 80s numbers, it is heavy inflation. By the 90s, moderate inflation, and then today it is low inflation. That's why they call it the CP lie. Because as long as you take out everything that is inflated completely out of control, and you can't do without, like a fucking roof over your head, inflation almost doesn't exist. As long as you don't talk about, eating healthy foods, inflation doesn't exist. And the way that they do their consensus model is antiquated at best, because they basically they call up 10,000 people and survey them to get a lot of these numbers. It is a old. I mean, I could sit there and get this data points just by going online, and I'll get different data points than what they're doing it in areas that typically do not see high inflation, because they're in the middle of bumblefuck nowhere, right? And then they're sitting there basing all of these off of the lowest paying areas with the lowest prices anywhere in the country. They cherry pick this stuff, and then they make all this CPI line numbers. Right, all in Harlem and a bad side of Alabama. Exactly, Alex. Exactly. You're triggering, but careful, Nemesis. You're triggering too many watchwords and names in the watchdog algorithm. It's like we're crypto, baby. We're already done. But, it's like, and then you go into the energy market, right? Energy services. We're talking natural gas. They're almost at 35% more to heat your home this winter, boys and girls. 35% more money is going to come out of your pocket. Where is it going to go to? All the subsidies that the government's fucking doing. This is what the government does whenever they shut down the Keystone Pipeline, because they wanted to we were energy independent. We were lowest energy usage. They decided to shoot ourselves in the foot and put every hardworking American like me and you into the poorhouse, because we need to sit there and keep our houses warm. We need electricity. Electricity's up 15%, guys, in 1 year. 15%. Never have happened before. Never. This is what happens when the government, comes in and it's like, we're here from the government and I'm here to help. Run, right? And it's like they're just basically playing 3-card Monty, trying to sit there and get the genie, the inflation genie back in the bottle. It's too late. What Jerome Powell needs to do is not pussyfoot around it. I mean, he is not the same. He's not, Paul Volcker. Paul Volcker in the 80s raised the interest rates up almost 16%. Highest interest rate peak ever. Got the inflation genie back under control. It was a little short-term pain in the 80s. I remember that. It hurt a little bit. Me and my mom, we went little poor for a little while, and then it was like a little better after that. After like a couple of years, it had absorbed itself through the 80s. And going into the 90s, we were in a better position. We need something like that. We need a Paul Volcker moment. We have Ben Bernanke and that did the Ben Bernanke put, where he basically caused the fucking housing bubble that popped in 2018 or 2008, and then now we have more bad policies coming out with quantitative easing. You don't do quantitative easing when you have an amazing economy. You do quantitative tightening because your economy can handle it. And during the time where they could have done quantitative tightening, they kept on easing and easing, kicking this can down the road and making the inflation genie turn into a fucking raging bull. And now me and you as the working class, we're the ones that are going to feel the brunt end of what this means. And they're going to sit there and try to sugarcoat it. And people are still scratching their head going, oh, this is short term. And you got people that are brain dead zombies. We're talking, it's been a year. We have a horrible economy. Everything is getting more expensive all the time. Every time you go to the grocery store, every time you go to the pump, it hurts. And what are they doing? Instead of going, hey, we inflated too much, we need to take in more taxes and almost do what, basically Ethereum's doing and do a burn cycle where you actually get rid of some of the fucking cash out of the system. We have too much of it, and that is the problem. It is not the interest rate, although a lot of the money printing that they did do was in loans. So they need these people to pay back said loans. When you got a 0% interest rate and you can keep getting extensions on your loan, there's no incentive to fucking pay it back. But there is if I sit there and I make the interest rate up high enough, but that means that you're going to see layoffs in the process of it. And if depending on how they do this knee jerk, what Jerome Powell's trying to do is he's trying to inch his way to it, right? So he's like, man, I need to raise the interest rate. So he nudges it forward just a little bit. He knows there's a fucking cliff just right there, right? The cliff is right here, right? And he's just kind of nudging this interest rate. He doesn't want it to teeter over. And he knows that there's going to be a point where he's going to put the interest rate over the edge just a little bit, and it's like a little, it's like a log a little bit. You get a little fluctuation in there because you're going to have your commercial interest rates, and then you're going to have the pleb interest rates. So you're going to have this like long log of like a variety of different interest rates depending on use case, industry, incentives, blah, 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 blah. He's going to push it over. It's going to balance like that. What he doesn't want to do is he doesn't want to push it and watch it teeter over, because if it teeters over, welcome to the roaring 20s. 1929 is going to look like a fucking walk in the park. And this is going to be good for assets. Tangible fucking assets, guys. So all of these fools that are piling into dollars right now, they're going to pile into the dollars because the dollar is weak, so the dollars are weak in comparative to the assets. So the assets have a stronger value than the dollar. So you're going to see people pile back into the dollar until the dollar becomes strong and it can buy them more assets. And then you're going to see it flop back in. Now, if they do this wrong, you're going to see the dollar shoot up. Everything becomes too expensive. Market crashes on itself and implodes as people are jumping off the cliff and trying to grab on the assets that are fucking just kind of went the other way as the dollar just spikes down. And that's what they don't want to see, is the asset class that jump up out of nowhere and the dollar just go into a death spiral. This is how every nation collapses. So he's trying to just kind of play with these little manipulated numbers, but at the end of the day, he sees the numbers. He knows where the true inflation is. The true inflation is somewhere around 35 to 40% inflation right now. We are teetering in unmanipulated numbers. If we had raw data in front of us, we are in hyperinflation territory at this point. We have doubled our M1 money supply to the point of practically no return. So basically, we need a Paul Volcker moment. Let the interest rate kind of hit. Everybody's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot of people. People are going to go homeless. It's going to happen. But the way that they're doing it right now is that they're trying to do it and keep the elite class in line so that they're ready to pounce on the assets as they fucking push the interest rate past the point of no return. Now, what I think is going to happen is you're going to see them push it forward a little bit, and they're going to watch the stock market drop off, and they're going to grab that interest rate, and they're going to pull it right back in. And then they're going to start quantitative easing all over again, kicking the can down the road further. You can't do this forever. I mean, they can play with it a little bit longer. I think they can hold off for probably another 10 years playing with this. But we're going to watch it just incrementally. They're not going to be able to ever hit the target 2.5% inflation year over year. Those days are done right now. Unless they sit there and make the pain happen right now. And that means a lot of good people are going to lose their jobs. A lot of good people are going to go homeless. It's going to happen either way. They don't care if you guys go homeless. They don't care if you guys go home hungry. They're just trying to make sure that the people who are in the position to grab the assets are ready. And if they start dropping certain assets and then they start complaining about it, you're going to see Jerome Powell, make a U-turn on the direction that he's trying to do. He wants to do another one. They were talking about a 100-point basis jump, which would be 1%. It'd be the biggest that Jerome Powell has ever even talked about. But he did hint towards the 75% basis points. I think that he might do a 50% basis point jump on there. But the longer that they take, the better this is for Bitcoin. The better this is for gold. The better this is for anybody who is a land holder, whether you have raw land or you own your house. Because on the other side, these asset classes are going to become almost unattainable. Yes, gold lost a little, like a 1.5% to Bitcoin's 12% drop, right? These are healthy pullbacks when people think that they're jumping back into dollars like fools. We're going to watch the rats jumping the ship here very soon. I mean, it's like, I'm not trying to sound the alarm really hard, but I'm trying to sound the alarm so that you guys, all of us, are positioned in the right positions. I'm not giving you guys advice. I'm giving you what's in my head and how I'm thinking about the market and how I handle it. It's like, yeah, doom. What up, Gallo? It's like bread and butter lions. Here we come. Oh yeah, and I think we're gonna hit into the 70s. We're gonna feel the gas shortage here, like we had in the 70s. They're gonna watch that economy come to a fucking screeching halt. And they think that they have compliance on everybody to do everything that they want to do. But, you know, it's like if your license plate ends in an odd number and an odd letter, you get gas on these days. If you have an even number with even numbered letters, you go get gas on this day. And you're only allowed to get so many gallons. And you better be there bright and early to get your little pinch of gas. Like in the 70s, it was not uncommon. During the gas crisis, you'd see people lined up 2-3 miles to try to get gas. People pushing their cars in because they ran out of gas while trying to get gas. This shit fucking happens, guys. Like, Life of Rianne. Hey, baby. She's like, what do you think about investing in lithium mines? Absolutely fucking not. I myself would not touch lithium mining with a 10-foot pole. Few different reasons. One, lithium mining is an economical disaster on a huge scale. They do pit mining in lithium mines. It's not like they're digging a hole and tunneling in to go get it. No. They're making open-face pit mines. And I would say more than half of those lithium mines are using working conditions that are unsafe, unhumane, or they're using child labor or slaves. So I have an issue with more than half of the industry in whole. I don't think that, and it's like, and then afterwards, after they dig it up and we use it, you can't even they don't even want you throwing those batteries away because it starts fires, uncontrollable fires. Batteries that ignite, you can't even put them out. They just throw sand on it and hope that it goes away over time. It's all they can do. That's it. There's no good way to recycle them at all. If it was like a resource that was able to be reused, repurposed, blah, blah, blah. No, it's a one-time use operation. And on top of that, it's the people, the companies that are doing it. It's just, I'm like, I don't understand why the why the green agenda people aren't having so much of a conniption fit. But I have an idea why, and that's more because they they are not doing it here in the United States. So it's like, as long as I don't see it, it doesn't happen, right? That's their whole thing of the green agenda. I can't see it. And you see the green agenda coming out of where? Big cities. LA, San Francisco, Chicago, New York. They want everybody in the countryside to be green so that they feel bad about their pollution. It's like warming up bike legs. Nice. Yes, Crypto Crag. They're a one-time use item. I wish that I could recycle them. I wish. There are so many, like, if the electric car industry or the electric vehicle industry was more mature, with better companies that are on all aspects of it. Because, like, a lot of these mining companies, they're taking advantage of cheap labor by any means necessary, because labor in your first world countries is too expensive. So they have to go to cheap third world countries to exploit them by any means necessary. It's horrible. And it's like Elon Musk uses the place that he gets a lot of his lithium cells from, his lithium for his batteries, come from a company that uses child labor in Africa. So it's not like Elon Musk in Tesla is this virtuous company by any means necessary. Elon Musk makes money off of government subsidies. Elon Musk makes money off of our tax dollars. We are paying for him to go put stuff into space. We are paying for all the cars on the road. He doesn't make enough money selling cars because he's not selling enough of them. And on top of that, it's kind of bullshit that, only 17% of the whole United States is on a green grid. That means you're using fossil fuels to charge a car. And it's like, I think they said that the fuel economy on a Tesla was something like 42 miles to the gallon, basically, an equivalent of emissions. I'm sorry, they got hybrids that do that. I know Corvette owners that are doing 35 miles to the gallon. So it's not like Elon Musk is all this virtuous company by any means necessary. I know, he's so, I can't get involved with, and then Elon's like, I can't, with virtue signaling, I can't get involved with Bitcoin. It uses energy. And in that whole aspect, it only uses 10% of the total energy supply of the world globally. Because it's like, mining is not centralized into one spot. It's global. So we take global energy production. Bitcoin is less than 10% of global energy production. The energy fucking argument is dead. 10%. They're picking on the low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit. Because right above them is fucking Amazon, Facebook, all these other data centers that are running. They're picking off the low-hanging fruit. Oh, these people are bad. They're the ones that are using all the carbon. It's like, excuse me, for 10% of the total global energy production. Get out of here with that. But and then there's times where the like, getting back on a topic with like economics getting involved with this. You have areas like this where you have the consumer price index for They classify it as all urban consumers, 1 month and 12-month percentages. So the 12-month percentage change, not seasonally adjusted. That's the yellow line that just takes an elevator straight up. and then you see the 1 month percent change, seasonally adjusted. You see how that flatlines? That's when you know you're looking at manipulation. They think they're flatlining this shit by basically obfuscating the actual data that's behind it, going, oh, that gets out, take that one out, oh, no, take that one out, nope, 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 and then all of a sudden it just goes, beep. It's amazing how they do this. And then like they've got commodities, food, less food and energy commodities, and that comes into apparel, new vehicles. They're saying 10%. I'd like to know where they're fucking getting a car that's 10% over MSRP, brand new. 10% over MSRP. My ass. MSRP is probably about 30% less than where they're selling new vehicles at. Used cars, I was seeing 45% inflation on used cars. I drive past these places. I see this with my own eyes. This is why I know that they cherry picked all this crap with going into areas that don't normally get hit with high inflation. Normally, because the income level could not sustain it. It's like you go into certain areas, it's more expensive in certain areas, not because the taxation always changed on it. It's just that you're in a higher end area and they know they can get away with it. That's a free market. I'm not gonna bitch at them for it. Free commerce is free commerce. It's like eventually you raise your prices and people don't buy. That's how you gauge an area, right? So that's where they're pulling these areas from. Alcoholic beverages. Oh my God. It's like, hey, bro, this is relative to you. Alcohol. Over the last 2 years, how much have you paid more per beer? Have you seen a good price change? Per beer on an individual can, right? Which was normally just $1.25 like a couple of years ago, right? Right. So you're talking almost a 50% increase in price on just a single can of beer. How are you telling me this is 4.2%? This is a fucking joke. An absolute joke. That's why they call it the CP lie. Because if he's seeing about 50% increase, where'd they get this fucking number from? Mine and Hodl, a 30-pack went from 23 to 30. Exactly. In Hawaii, it did. And you're already inflated on your price because you're on an island. And they're shipping everything in. And they're like, oh, we're going to ship it there? Charge them. They're like, got them. $1.25 beer, bourbon 55 to $69.90 for a half pint. Oh, I mean a handle then, right? I'm thinking you're calling it a handle, a half handle in Idaho. It's like, oh my God, yeah, exactly. You're talking almost a $20 jump in a half a handle. That's fucking crazy. Fucking crazy. It is just insane on where everything is going. I mean, okay. I used to smoke cigarettes a long time ago. I used to smoke cigarettes. It's probably about going on almost 10-ish years, maybe a little longer than that now. Almost 12 years. Almost 12 years. It's been over 12 years. Because I stopped smoking cigarettes. Now, I was vaping. That's why it's hard for me to sit there and distinguish it. But I was vaping, not smoking cigarettes. And right at the beginning of 2011. And I started vaping. But at that time, I paid $4.35 for a pack of cigarettes, Camels. So we're not talking hand roll up, name brand, Camels. That same pack of cigarettes is $10 since 2011. So since 2011, we have more than a 50% increase in 10 years. Don't tell me that the numbers are not heavily inflated here. I went to vaping because I was like, a 50 ml bottle was $50, and that would last me all month. I was like $50 versus it was like $300 a month smoking cigarettes. Fucking crazy. I was like, that's a fucking car payment, damn near. So yeah, I quit doing that stuff, saved myself a lot of money. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. Apparel, yeah. Your apparel has gotten, it hasn't gone that much up in price. Have you seen how thin your new shirts are getting? Have you seen how many less washes your socks survive? Have you seen how that your a pair of work boots doesn't even last a year anymore? Hell, have you noticed that I like ice cream sandwiches, okay? I fucking love ice cream sandwiches. And it pains me that they're only fucking 4 bites for an ice cream sandwich. Same price. 4 bites. Because we have what they call shrinkflation. Yes. They're the people who are providing goods and services are trying to keep their prices low. Because they know you, as the working class, can't fucking afford it. They are doing everything in their power to keep the prices low. Subsequently, this also means it has to be fucking cheap. And subsequently, the only people who are producing cheap products for our cheap dollars is that chickadee China. You kind of see how this picture, why our government is so friendly to China? Because we are pushing the means of production out of here in order to have cheap crap we don't fucking need. We need a means of production here. We need a means of energy independence here in this country by any means necessary. Any superpower has means of production and means of self-efficient energy. We're going to have people this winter that are going to be choosing between heating their fucking house or putting food on their table. That's shit you hear in a third world fucking country. We are the richest third world country out there now. Mark my words, we are the richest third world country. There ain't nobody that's going to be able to proclaim that over us at this point. our for the first time in decades, lifespan has dropped 5 years. That's how you know you're in a decaying society. Your life, because your quality of life is less. Your quality of food is less. Quality of healthcare is less. Your lifespan is shorter. Bad food, bad medicine equals bad life. And then on top of that, trying to get everybody to work morning, day, noon, and night, for a small means of production that we have here. And we wonder why we're the richest third world country out there, and China is becoming the more of the superpower of the world globally. We couldn't stand toe-to-toe with China. Hell no. We can barely even stand toe-to-toe with Russia because our means of production is nothing. We have put it into the medical industrial complex. We've put it into the military industrial complex. All means of productions are focused in from our government into those 2 areas. Next to printing money and controlling the oil supply, which that last one, we're losing on. The fucking Saudis don't really want to deal with us. I'm just saying. We want Saudi oil, and the Saudis don't want to sell it to us. The Saudis see what we're doing. Our government is fucking it up for every one of us Americans. And then when you look at it from a big macro stance, because everybody's money is tied to the US dollar in some way, shape, or form, we take down everybody because we are the ship. Oh yeah. Even F-35 halted production. Majority of metal from China. Yep. Yep. It's like Gallows. Nem for president. I know. It's like I could fucking solve. It's not hard to solve the problem. You're not going to be popular when you do it. That's the thing. Every one of these politicians is like a fucking popularity contest. They think they're in the fucking high school trying to run for whatever office like they did in high school. This is high school on a bigger scale, and we're important people doing good things. And they don't realize that those are the same fucking people that were making the cliques in the high school, that were fucking starting shit between people in high school. They were a lot of those same people were fucking horrible in high school as they are today in the government. They're two sides of just a fucking shit show. We got one sitting there going, we can meet in the middle, and we got the other side going, you're all should be arrested and you're illegal, and that party shit, that you do all these bad things, and because of those bad things, you should be all in prison for it. And we're a little less bad than you. We do less bad things than you do. So you should be in prison, and nobody should ever vote for you because of bad things. The fuck? It's like they're having too much of a pissing contest in the government versus, trying to make sure that they get elected next year. I joke around with this with my buddies, right? I tell people, a politician gets into office, he has exactly 6 months, no more than 6 months, before he has to start looking at campaigning again. So you vote in a politician. If he can't take care of everything in 6 months, like a field goal, he either kicks a field goal or he's campaigning again. So after 6 months, he's got his hand out going, donations, please. We're rerunning. We want to make sure that you're behind us so that we can get elected again, and I'll do more stuff for you next time. You'll have another 6 months of me trying to do nothing. I know. The politicians are basically going around selling everybody snake oil, and we have their national news outlets that get sucked into it, that basically spurt out the propaganda from the government for them so that they can basically dupe everybody into voting for more of this crap. I mean, shit, here in Chicago, come the first of the year, as long as I don't kill you, I can kidnap you. And no cash bail. Because no cash bail is racist. And it's like, it's just failed policy after failed policy. I don't vote for this shit. I vote for just the exact opposite. But there's too many people outvoting me. I don't understand how, because when you talk to these people individually, they're like, no, I don't like that. Why'd you vote for it? I vote blue or nothing at all, right? It's like, no, that's not how it works. You're supposed to vote for things that mean something to you, not just because the other guy said, I don't like this, and this is bad. I don't like this. And you're like, well, I like this guy, so anything he says is correct and that guy is wrong. It's like, oh my God. You talk to these people individually and they're like, nah, dude, I fucked up. And it's like, why do you keep voting like this? Because I think I'm doing the right thing. It's like, stop being virtuous. Vote from here and not here. Don't vote with your heart. The road to hell was paved with good intentions. Stop voting for these policies that don't work. I wish I could sit there and tell all these other people, stop voting for this crap. We voted our way into this hole. And we are now reaping the rewards of the woke ideologies in the government, because these people are too worried about, again, full circle on this one, too worried about being in a popularity contest, which means that, they want to make sure all their voter constituents like them. Therefore, I can't have inflation get out of control. Well, that genie's out of the bottle. Now I got to make sure interest rates and taxes don't come out of control, right? Well, they took away taxes here in Illinois. There's no gas tax. There's no grocery tax, So now the government is returning back with less money now. What do you think their response is going to be when they have less money? More money printing. That's what it's going to rely on. more money printing. What does that mean for us? A weaker dollar. What does that mean for us? A more expensive Bitcoin, more expensive gold, more expensive silver, and more expensive housing. Those are going to be the 4 areas where we're going to see the failed policies rear its head in. Is in assets that people need. Gold, silver, Bitcoin, housing. After that, food. You need food, housing, and clothing, right? In order to really live. Well, you can make your own clothes. You can grow your own food. But housing is going to get fucking expensive. I mean, imagine, oh yeah, we got this 10 by 10 lot with a tent, $50,000. Oh, what's this 10 by 10 thing? 10 feet by 10 feet with a tent on it. That's your property and your home. Equipped this time with an AC on it. Now, who in the hell is knocking? Like people coming by, not calling. It's like, I live stream at 4 o'clock. Why can't you people understand that? I didn't even see him walk across my lawn. Neighborhood people. I like hanging out with me. Because I'm cool people. And I'm smart. At least I think I am. Maybe not. I'm just a YouTuber. What do I know? But yeah, I mean, it's like I was saying, like people are voting for these ultimately failed policies. And we're now reaping the rewards of this. The Nancy Pelosi's of the world with a little drunken ass and her drunken husband, sitting there, help destroying everything. It's like her town is Poopville. Nancy Pelosi's town is Poopville. She's wealthy in Poopville. How do you get wealthy in Poopville? Well, these fucking people in Napa Valley will step right over to poop because their nose is so high with their fucking elegance. They're not royal family, but man, they act like they are. and they're sitting there and they're not going to vote for it's like you have a bunch of them that poppycock about or virtue signal about, oh, we need to tax the rich. They are the rich. Who? Ask yourself. If you had a bunch of your friends, we're like, hey, we need to tax ourselves for the business, right? Whatever it is, And what's a fair tax? So everybody's like, oh yeah, 2% tax, good. So everybody agrees on that. And then after that, these guys make a whole bunch of money, and then there's another level of investors that come in and they're like, oh shit, we're being taxed, but we're getting taxed so heavily at this 2%. That, it's like those people up there that made all that money in the first round, they should get taxed more. But these people are the ones that vote on it, right? They are not going to vote on taxing themselves more money. Quite the opposite, right? They'll be like, oh yeah, okay, we'll tax ourselves more here, but we'll incentivize something over here that gives it right back. A tax loophole. Oh, perfect. So I have to pay it, but then it comes back in the return. So I watch my money go out, and then it boomerangs right back to my bank account, right? That's pretty much how how the government taxes the rich. You pay your taxes, so you'll pay your $5 million in taxes. But realistically, what you're going to end up paying is about $650,000 out of that $5 million, right? So $4.44 million is going to come back to you out of your 650, right? Or 4.45, I'm sorry, 4.45, whatever. It's going to come right back to you. That's their equivalent of taxing the rich. Yeah, Elon Musk paid like what was it like almost like around $1 billion in taxes or something like that, right? If you don't think that's not coming back to him, you'd be foolish. The only people that pay taxes in this country and the people that fucking run this country and allow the country to do what it needs to do is us working class plebs. The rich fucking get all their taxes back from every fucking loophole out there. Me and you, I don't see those fucking loopholes being utilized for me, but they get to use it. Nice. And then now they're going to be arming the IRS to come after you. Don't tell me that they're not going to be trying to fleece every one of us Americans to fucking do this. This is going to be all this inflation is going to be paid off by the blood, sweat, and tears of every one of us Americans. Just remember, you have U.S. senators that took the Paycheck Protection loans. You have multi-million-dollar companies that took the PPE loans. This was basically welfare for the rich. And then when it comes time to pay for it, we get to, and we're seeing the inflation from this. It's oh yeah, yep. All I have to do is like towards the end of the movie called The Bug's Life. The movie Bug's Life. And the reason why I love to use the analogy, the movie The Bug's Life. This way, the YouTube algorithm knows that I'm talking about a movie called The Bug's, The Bug's Life, whatever it is, right? Where the grasshoppers was having a private conversation saying that the ants outnumbered them 20-1. And that they needed to keep the illusion that the grasshoppers were in control. The moment we came on YouTube, you got put on that list. It's like, oh my god, the best example. I know, right? 1998 Pixar, back when they slipped out little truths here and there. Before all these corporations went full blown woke. Yep, exactly, Alex. If one stands up, they might all stand up, and we need to squash that immediately. That's A Bug's Life. Greatest movie to be taught out there. That one little spot in that movie, if anything anything that's taken away, that one segment of that movie, best segment. Great time to grow up. Iron Giant was also freaking amazing. Yes! Iron Giant, the idea that you could do anything and achieve anything. I love that too. With your hands, you may build, right? It's like it's like there was times where movies were telling little truths, and then you had Disney Corporation sitting there with their crap. That's why I'm anti-Disney. Fuck Disney and their woke bullshit. So, we are over that 1 hour mark, guys. I appreciate everyone here, as always, guys. As always. I hope that you guys learned a little bit from this one. Kind of helps you understand why Bitcoin price has dropped, because people are flooding back into the cheap dollars. Waiting for the dollars because they think that with the interest rate hike that the dollars will become more expensive. If dollars become more expensive, it allows you to buy more assets. It's kind of like a little washing machine that investors go back and forth on. So don't worry about Bitcoin price. It just means that, you know, that the whales are pulling into a cheap asset before they breathe back out into another cheap asset. It's just kind of how they work. It's why I don't like big investors. I don't like, it's like the firm, like investment firms. a little bit better because they tend to buy and hold. But it is big market whale traders that, market makers, market movers. These guys hit the markets hard. They invest big. And then when all their customers say pull out, they dump every fucking Bitcoin that they had. So they drop their exposure, assets drop. But we're seeing it in all areas. So as much as people say, oh, but Bitcoin's not correlated. No, Bitcoin is correlated, and it is more of the canary in the coal mine for all intents and purposes. But whenever Jerome Powell figures out that he can't beat inflation and the inflation genie is out of the bottle and they are fucked, that's when we're going to see gold, silver, and Bitcoin rocket in price. We're not even going to... housing will go to the moon. We'll go to the moon, go to Mars, and come back. It'll be a round trip on there, guys, with the housing market. The housing market, because it's going to be land. People need land. They need sound money in land. Those two items are going to become almost unattainable soon. So take that for what you will, guys. I want everybody to be in a good position whenever this fucking shit gets kicked off. So for me, my goal is gold, silver, Bitcoin. I have this house is my house, and I plan on trying to grab another house close to the facility. And then we're going to sell this place, and I'm going to have that place. Or maybe I might, if everything works out really nicely, I'll keep this place, I'll rent this place out, and this will become an asset. Because if it's a house you live in, it's a liability. An asset makes you money. A liability costs you money. You have to mow the lawn. You have to do house maintenance. All this other stuff that comes with owning a house. All the bills that come with owning the house. This means money out. No money in. Until you sell said house, then it becomes an asset when you make money off of it. Until then, owning a house and living in it is a liability. The world needs to realize that you don't look at the house you're living in as an investment in any way, shape, or form. It is merely a roof over your head. So, listening while at home. Thanks. Keep it real, man. Yep. It's like, yep. No problem, Fudweiser. So, with that being said, guys, I'm not trying to be doom and gloom on all of this. I just want to make sure you guys are all well informed. So, for me, again, gold, silver, Bitcoin, land. Those are the four things that are going to help you get out on the other side. Who were the people that made it big after the Great Depression through the 30s? It was the people who had gold, silver, and land. Those three categories protected consumers' wealth. And that's what I want to make sure that you guys are doing too, is protecting your consumer wealth. Your economical energy needs to be preserved. And you need to preserve it in the only things that work today. Gold, silver, Bitcoin, and land. Those are the only things that work for preserving your economical energy. And with that, guys, being said, definitely smash that Lizzie. Take that economical energy that you have in your finger and press that Lizzie like button, guys. Subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. If you would like to also have your rigs hosted at the Family Mine and you want early VIP access, join the VIP section of the Patreon, links down below. Otherwise, be a part of the Discord. It is free to join, guys. Links down below. Love to have you there, guys. We can continue conversations like this or talk about any kind of, mining gear, computer issues, server problems. We pretty much have a very diverse community. We have market traders, if you're into that stuff. We have JR Weatherman from DCA Adventure. So definitely check all that stuff out, guys. And like always, peace out. And of course, stay savage. Yo!